Hey, Tubies, this is Psychic Bob. It is so awesome to be back with you today. You guys have been just rocking, and I want to say thank you to all of you who've been coming out to my recent videos. I tell you, we've been having such a wonderful time, and I just really appreciate your support for everything I've been doing. And I want to say thank you, especially for your support for my horoscopes blog. For those of you who are new here, you may not know I am now doing horoscopes 7 days a week. That's right, you can go over to my blog. It's at my website at robert-hickman.com. I'll put the link below, and you can get your daily horoscope. That's right. I'm so psyched you guys are here. And today is Tuesday, so you know what that means. Time for messages from the spirit world. And for those of you who are new here, this is something we do every week. People write me letters from all over the world. I just throw them in the hat and I grab a bunch and we see what the spirit world has. Now, there is no charge for this. So some people have written me and said, Psychic Bob, how much do I have to pay? No, no, no. This is free. This is my gift to all of you. And my way to say thank you for your love and your support. So, we're a community here at Spirit Channel. And I'm so honored to have the opportunity to read for you. Well, we're going to get into the letters, but before we do that today, let's all just take a moment. Let's center ourselves and attune to the spirit world. Okay. I hear my spirit guide Fletcher back here. He says hello. All right, our first letter tonight is from Bob Moose. Hello, Bob. Good to see you. And he writes, he says, Dear Psychic Bob, I had a private reading with you last year. Thank you for your insights. Well, thank you, Bob. I'm glad that was helpful for you. You mentioned about a grandmother who came through in the reading. Do you have any more insights on that? Also, can you tell me anything you pick up around the name Patrick? Many thanks. Your friend, Bob. Hi, Bob. It's interesting. When I step into that frequency around the grandmother, I get a blood connection. So I don't feel this was a step grandmother. I feel this was literally like a blood grandmother around it. And the reason I say that is when you said the name in your letter here, Patrick, I got a silver cord going from her to him, which for me as a psychic means a familial connection. And I may not have made that clear to you, so let me clarify that. I do feel this grandmother has a blood tie to you. Now, interestingly, around the name Patrick here, I do feel that this is a name of somebody also part of that blood link. I do get a connection around them. They feel very fatherly to me. And it's interesting is because I get a sense that in their lifetime when they were on earth, they were very disconnected from you and from other people. They may have had an early death, but I do pick up a sense of disconnection. And in life, they had struggle. There was a lot of emotional struggle and possibly even an addiction issue. So this Patrick that I pick up, I feel like he was not able to be present for you. I do feel that from the spirit world, however, he is making an effort to reach across the veil and to connect. Now, as I always say with spirit connections, we don't have to take the connection if we're not comfortable with it. So you're under no pressure here. But I do feel that this grandmother that comes in is connected to Patrick. And I feel like both of them are trying to build a connection with you. And I feel that, interestingly, around you, I get a lot of blue and purple today, which means that you're feeling your psychic self. And you may actually start to sense presences around you. And I feel that this grandmother and this Patrick are both around you in spirit. And I do feel like the father and grandmother are both in the light, meaning they're on the other side. They're not earthbound. And I feel like if you want to connect with them, it will put you more in touch with your own psychic energies. Because I do feel like both of them carry psychic ability around them. And I think you have this from a genetic place connected to both of them. Anyways, hope that helps. Blessings to you. Thanks for writing. All right, our next letter is from Darth Telly. And Darth Telly writes and says, Dear Psychic Bob, do you think anything big will happen with aliens soon? Ooh, that's a good question. Well, Darth, I have to tell you, um, whether people believe it or not, it's already happening. I've been following the statistics on UFO sightings, and they are through the roof. Just in the last 2 to 3 years, they've more than doubled pretty much all over the world, not just in the United States. So it's already happening. In terms of a big revelation, probably still a little ways off. I've said it before and I stand by it. It's still about 2 years until we get, what I would say would be full open disclosure of the alien presence. But I want you to watch now because there are signs being given. In fact, I'm going to do a video next week about this, about Mars, because there's a lot happening on Mars right now, and you might want to research that. They just found it appears to be a giant Buddha statue on Mars. NASA even is admitting it's there. And there's a lot on Mars. They think that there's a Stonehenge on Mars. They've seen a Sphinx on Mars pyramid. So, the fact that life is out there is not going to, for some of us, be such a shock. But I think for most of the world in the next 2 years, this is where it'll come out. Okay, so is anything big going to happen? It's already happening. Just keep watching. It's going to come in increments, and in 2 years, we'll get big disclosure. Thanks for writing. All right, our next letter is from Stephen Calvert. Hi, Stephen. And Stephen says, Dear Bob, I have turquoise in my aura. Does this have any metaphysical meaning or benefits? Hi, Stephen. It's interesting. I do pick up turquoise around you. When I see turquoise in the aura, a lot of times what that indicates is that somebody is finding peace within themselves. It's generally I see turquoise after somebody's been through a challenging time. So it means that they've regained their composure, they've regained their self-esteem, they've regained their focus and their vision. So for you, psychically and metaphysically, this means that you've come through a rough time and you're getting back on track, and your path is opening. It also indicates a sense of feeling contentment. Usually after having to make complex choices or decisions, turquoise in the aura means you've made a decision and you're at peace. So this bodes well for you. It indicates, better times ahead. Okay. Hope that helps. Blessings to you. All right. Our next letter is from Storybook Tea Time. Hello, Storybook. They write and say, Hey, Bob, I'd like to know what you see concerning future earthquakes. Do you think there is a big one coming? Yeah. That's a really good question. In fact, I'm probably going to do a whole video on this subject because there are going to be a lot of changes on the earth. I believe that Mother Earth is getting fed up with humanity. And I'm not saying that to be negative and dark and ominous, but I think that there is a natural balancing that is occurring now and will occur to a greater degree unless we heed the message. It's interesting because when I look across the United States, I literally get earthquakes on the West Coast, which of course, no surprise, we all know that. But I'm getting really to a much larger degree than we've seen. California has a lot of little quakes, but I'm getting pretty large quakes down, particularly in the southern area near San Diego coming. And I feel that that will occur before this year is up. I also get an earthquake directly down the center of the United States, so like passing through the mid-states. I feel that there's going to be a major shift in that area, and there may also be a rather large earthquake that covers several states. And I also get earthquakes on the East Coast. So I feel like there are three, it's literally like America's divided between three zones, West Coast, Central, and East, and all of them I see increasing seismic activity. When you say, is it going to be the big one? Well, that really depends. It depends, and people may laugh at this, but our consciousness determines what we experience. If we choose to be out of touch with our higher self, if we choose to ignore Mother Earth and continue destruction, the devastation will escalate. But when people choose to focus back on their true self, their true consciousness, and take responsibility for their actions for the earth, I believe that shifts the balance of energy and can stave off disasters as well as, lessen ones that are occurring. So, we'll see. We'll have to watch. But I do get both of these. Interestingly, there was the big quake just last few days down in Ecuador. That does not surprise me because literally that country's along the equator. And I feel like that's a sign, like that's the balancing point for the earth, the equator. And the fact that there was an earthquake there, and it was rather significant, for me also is a sign that spiritually we're out of balance. So we need to work on ourselves and we need to balance and respect Mother Earth. I think we can stave off a lot of this. Anyways, hope that gives you a little insight. Thanks for writing. All right, our next letter is from Ryla, and she writes, Dear Psychic Bob, what do you see around me for my past lives? Hello, Ryla. Hon, when I step into your vibration, I hear music all around you. And I feel this is connected to your past lives. It sounds like violins, it sounds like people dancing, some little bells ringing. And what that tells me is you were a gypsy in one of your past lives. Yeah, you were one of the Roma. You traveled. This was in the early 1900s. You used to travel in the caravans, that would go across the country. You were actually based here in the United States. You were a fortune teller. So you used to read tarot. You were very tuned into psychic things. You loved to read your crystal ball. You did palmistry. You did all of it. But you're carrying a past life energy of a gypsy. And I feel like that's around you in this life. And I tell you, over the next 2 to 3 years here, I really feel around you an energy. It's like a compulsion to start traveling. And you're going to say, Bob, I just want to be on the go. I want to go so many places. I don't know. I just feel like and it's like I see the whole family around you. I feel like you're all going as a group. And I feel like your family is also part of your soul group, and they're connected to the gypsies as well. So you're all back. You're still gypsies in your spirit. And I think it's wonderful. I love the Romany people. I think they're very gifted psychics, and they're a lot of fun, and they know how to have a good time. So if you want to travel, remember that's connected to your past life and indulge. Okay? Thanks for writing. All right, our next letter is from Rockstar of the Future. And they write and say, Hi, Psychic Bob. One of my good friends has been going through a rough few months. One of my good friends and I have been going through a rough few months, as she is angry at me. It feels like a total misunderstanding, and I'm upset about it. Do you see healing? Yeah. When I step into your frequency and as well as to your friend's vibration, I tell you, I get two different levels of energy here. Around your friend, I get a lot of red light and dark blue light, and that tells me that they fluctuate between depression and rage. And I'm not saying this to be critical, but I feel like they get very much tunnel vision, and it's kind of like their interpretation of events is the only one that is allowed to be considered valid. And I think for them, this is a struggle. I feel like, around you, when I step into your vibration, I do get more pink light, and I get dark blue. Pink light means that you feel emotional pain, you're more sensitive. Dark blue means that it's kind of, you've been feeling held back and a little sluggish here. In terms of healing, I have to be honest, I don't see a real kind of opening there until we get into around the end of June. I feel like around your friend that there's some issue here also energetically around a relationship, like a romantic relationship, that is also creating a block in their energy flow. I feel at the end of June they're free from that entanglement, and I feel like they're going to say to you, wow, I'm sorry I didn't listen to you, I pushed you away. And I do think that at that time there will be some healing, but until the end of June, I just don't see if possible. Now, I would say if they reach out to you, of course, by all means, receive them. but I'm not seeing them make the effort. And I don't feel that if you made the effort now, it would get far. So it's a timing thing. So let's watch around the end of June. I think they'll be in a better place then, okay? Blessings to you. All right. Our next letter is from Terry. Hi, Terry. Terry writes and says, Dear Lord Bob, can you share some past life info? Many thanks. Hi, Terry. You know, I love your vibration. When I step into it, you know what I'm getting? I'm getting sparkling silver pentagrams all around you. And what that tells me is you have a connection to magic in your past life. I feel that you were actually a witch, and I say that in a loving way. You were a witch who did good. You were a healer. I want to place this former lifetime, interestingly, in the United States. Looks like it's around Chicago. I want to say 1920s, 1930s. And you were a witch, and people would come to you for magic spells, for love spells, for healing. And you did a lot of wonderful things with people. And I feel like that energy is carrying over into this life. I feel that you have a lot of magic power. My spirit guide Fletch is and psychic. Excuse me. So you're definitely tuned in. And I want you to trust your intuitions. I feel that in your past life you did a little bit of seance work, like a medium type person. You're a medium, a psychic, like that. And you communicate with the spirit world. So you have some of that going on around you. And it's interesting, in this life, I get a lot of orb activity around you. So you may actually be one of these people, like wherever you go, like spirits manifest, or people always call you and say, oh, my house is haunted. Okay, that's some of your past life energy coming up. And just go with it. You can trust yourself to be protected, to be safe, and you can help earthbounds. And I feel like that's one of the works that you're also being called to do in this life, okay? Anyways, hope that helps. Blessings to you. All right. Our next letter is from Cynthia Caldwell. Hello, Cynthia. And she says, Dear Bob, will I ever get out of Baltimore and have a relationship again? It's been 14 years. I thought I was done with relationships, but I feel that I still have love to give. Hi, Cynthia. You know what, hon? It's wonderful when I step into your vibration. I get around you a lot of purple light and gold light in your aura. Purple means that you're connected to your higher self, your psychic self. And I really feel like this last 14 years, even though it's been kind of a dry spell in romance, I feel that's giving you the ability to know yourself and to focus your power. And I have to tell you, I feel you're in a very, very different energy place than you were 14 years ago. And I say that because around you, you also have this lovely golden light that I pick up. And golden light tends to indicate energies connected to letting your light shine. It's about being seen. And I feel you're entering into a period of your life where you're ready to be seen, to be mingling, to draw people to you. In terms of timing around a relationship, I want you to watch the month of August this year. This is where I'm seeing a connection. I do get a partner coming in, and it's interesting. I feel like this person, you make a connection, and you're going to laugh when I say this, it's at a barbecue. It's at somebody's lawn. You know how people have barbecues, cookouts. They have people come over and they heat up the grill. That's where I'm seeing the connections in August. And I tell you, it's one of these days, it's, you know, they call it the dog days of August. It's so hot that you feel like you're just melting. And I feel like you're getting an invitation. You're thinking, it's the hottest day of the year. I don't want to go be on some lawn in a barbecue. But go ahead and go, because that's where you meet them. And I do see this person being very spiritual. And I feel like it's like easy rapport, like conversation feels very easy. Not complex at all. I get the letter B around the name, so it may be somebody like Bill or Billy. I keep getting this name around it. So let's watch and see. But August looks like a time of new beginning for you. Okay. Thanks for writing. Well, gosh, guys, that's all the time I've got for letters today. I am so glad you're here. Thank you for writing. Thanks for your patience. Keep the letters coming. We're going to do this again next week. Anyways, I'm so glad you're here. And just again to remind you, don't forget to get your horoscopes today over at robert-hickman.com. I'll put the link below. And be back here tomorrow. We're going to do another video on aliens. We're going to talk more about the things that are happening on the various planets and what's coming, what we can expect. So now make sure to be here on Wednesday for aliens, okay? And don't forget, this upcoming Thursday, we got Zodiac Thursday, and you don't want to miss that. We're going to talk all about the new Taurus energy that's coming in with the sun's transit into Taurus and a few other things, but that'll be part of that day. So you got a lot to look forward here in the coming days. So we'll see you back here tomorrow. Hope you'll like this, favorite, share it with your friends, and hit subscribe. Be part of the Spirit Channel. Blessings to you. We'll see you here tomorrow.